All right, I'm recording this new intro because we got through the entire podcast without saying who we were.
Josh, we just finished a 2-hour recording session. What are we all doing here?
We are here to say who we actually are. My name is Josh, but I go by BottlerWorks. And then we'll go to William.
My name is Will. I go by Olivemeister. I make internet content.
Sick. And now let's do Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve. I also go by Quikwix, and I like bread.
And then that's everybody, okay?
How dare you? I'm Sam. I go by Sam.
Okay, sick. Now that I've recorded this thing I can paste at the beginning, we can actually...
I actually like bread.
we can actually
end.
We can actually...
Thanks for listening, everybody.
No,
Wait,
no, because it's going to be at the beginning. It makes no sense.
Shit. Oh, God damn it.
Here's your podcast, everybody. Oh, hello. How are you all doing?
Doing good.
I'm good.
I'm alright. I'm really tired. But I'm feeling pretty good.
Have you finished your coffee yet?
No, I've just started my coffee.
I've made the mistake of drinking all my coffee in one go, and now I've got nothing to drink. Well, that should give me a bit of energy.
Take a pause. Do you want to take a pause? Go make another one.
No, I'll survive. But yeah, I guess this is just the podcast where we talk about Monster Hunter Rise for like an hour and a bit, and then be like, shit, there's no time for anything else.
Is there anything we want to get out of the way before we talk about Monster Hunter?
Tournament.
Yeah, we could do. So if we do like a round table quickly of like if we've been playing anything else, but like keep it to like one thing, I guess, because otherwise it's just going to be I've been playing Monster Hunter. I've been playing Monster Hunter.
I've been playing Monster Hunter. I've been hunting monsters and zombies.
I think because I have something, and I think Steve has something.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should maybe
start
with
Sam even contributing? Or?
Yeah. Do you have anything?
I've done nothing but play Monster Hunter Rise for the last since it launched, since Wednesday.
I have a Stardew Valley update.
Oh, we have Stardew. Oh my god!
Go.
This is going to be a weekly series of like farm updates. Actually, I want to go straight into that. What the hell have you got to talk about Stardew Valley?
Well, I finished summer, right? Which was my big blueberry season, where I couldn't use sprinklers because I'd already planted everything, and once you plant them, they just regrow, so you can't just move them.
Yep. Well, I was worried about that. Yeah. I was thinking about you during the week. The blueberry farm.
Oh man, I was spending half of every day watering those fucking trees. I was just like, I don't want to do anything else. So we've hit full, and this time I went like, okay, I'm gonna buy 300 cranberry seeds, and I was like, this is too many, but this will be fine. I may have overdone it with the sprinklers. I didn't even cover half my farm in cranberries. I sat there, I spent over 100 grand on these seeds, and I was like, this would be more than enough. Like, this is 100 grand worth of seeds.
Do you think if I walked into my local garden centre and said, I've got 100 grand, give me your seeds, how many, do you think they would have enough stock?
They'd be like, we've got like £500 worth, and that's it. And even that's a push. We had to go out back and dig through shelves. Here are seeds for things that look like cranberries.
Right, and then enter problem number 2 is now I don't have to water my crops, which is all I've been doing. So now I don't know what to do because I have all the free time.
You factorioed Stardew Valley. It's all just like automation. It's just like solved itself.
And because I rushed to the mines to get the materials for the sprinklers, because I needed gold, so I got to the bottom of the mine. I can't even do the mine because I've got to the bottom.
You've completed the game.
No, there's still plenty to do. I just need time to progress, but it feels bad.
It's just all cranberry based.
Just go, oh, okay, start the day, wander around, give someone a gift, go to bed. Wander around, give someone a gift.
You've become like a philanthropist, or whatever the word is.
Yeah. The mad cranberry farmer that just rolls into town and gives everyone the gift of their dreams.
He walks around
That's
looking
what
like
he
a
is.
hobo, but then he just hands you like a stack of 10k.
His pockets full of cranberries, but yeah, he just hands you the keys to a new BMW or something.
You've become the creepy Stardew Valley Mr. Beast.
So that's I'm still early in full, but that's my life at the moment.
You're like my dad. He basically retired a little while back now, and then just immediately got bored and went back to finding work again. That's it.
Fair.
You automated everything, sat back on your empire, and thought, "No, I gotta find something else to do."
I had this when I was like changing my hours between like full time at work and part time, and then full time part time. It's like the grass is always greener. It's like
Yeah.
when I'm at work all the time, I'm like, damn, I wish I had more free time. And then when I have more free time because I'm not at work, I'm like, I'm bored as fuck. Like, what do I do? So yeah, I mean, like, what can you do, right?
So that's my Stardew Valley experience so far.
I love it. I will make this weekly. I expect updates next week now.
I'll get to winter. Don't worry, I'll do it.
Does Stardew Valley end? It does have an end point, right?
I don't think so.
I think after the third year, something happens that you can consider like an end point. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's credits.
15 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
just
you can just keep playing forever if you really want to.
Oh, okay.
But I think it has like events and stuff, and eventually you run out of scripted events, and that's like, you know, just farm for the sake of farming. It's like Minecraft, right?
Yeah.
And then you start a new save.
Then you start again, yeah, with mods.
Pokemon mods.
Is that in the game?
There's always Pokemon mods. You know there are.
Yeah,
And yes, there are Pokemon mods for
true.
Stardew, especially.
I can have a look. I've got the workshop up.
I've seen screenshots of Ponyta and Miltank.
Oh yeah, but you can have a
that-
horse in the game, so I assume that's just a skin for the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool,
know
man.
there's automation mods so that you can basically hook like redstone up so it will harvest your crops for you. It will look in a chest and be like, "Oh, we can smelt this ore," so it does that for you.
That feels like it's against the spirit of Stardew Valley, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you leave a big corporation
To make a new
immediately,
corporation.
like factory farm, like drip mine some cranberries out in the sticks.
Yeah. At the like have workers and stuff on just like a factory belt. You're in a big cushy office.
I think we just described capitalism.
Yeah, what's the other guy that made it? It's just watching these mods like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever.
You're all missing the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just removes it from Steam. Steve,
I have something.
Okay. No, we'll do. Will. Sorry, you've been superseded.
Wow.
Well, that's okay, because I know what Steve's going to say. But we don't have to get into this, but I watched Eternals. It came out on Disney Plus. I watched it with Darren. I thought it was really good.
I really liked it.
I think that movie's like a good lesson in like lowering your expectations, because all I heard going into it was, you're probably not going to like this one. This is a bad one.
Yeah, shit
This is a
sucks.
big misstep. Yeah, and then I kept waiting for it to like lose my interest, and didn't. Got all the way through to the end. Really enjoyed it. I liked it.
I have to say, I've watched the first 12 minutes of it, and that's not by like boredom. I was playing a game afterwards, and I had to say it's a weak start for me. At least I will finish it off, but yeah, it hasn't immediately gripped me.
It picks up.
I don't think you can do that for movies though. Like if you're a TV series, you can watch the first show, right, in the series, and be like, I don't know if this is for me. In a film, I don't think you can watch the first unless it's like the first hour, in which case you've already committed anyway.
Yeah.
I've done movies in two sections like that before. Movies that are like, really, really long.
Yeah.
I would argue this movie's really long. This is like approaching 3 hours.
It is a long movie. Yeah,
I more mean like they've explained a lot of lore already, and it's not really sunk in at all. And it's like, okay, yeah, instantly fighting stuff. And...
Yeah, there's more to it than the like Star Wars text scroll at the start.
Yeah,
it's like
It does. That is a big problem with the film, though, is that it's very long, but it feels very rushed because they're like, all right, we got to get through this. We got to introduce this guy, talk about this guy. This is going to happen. And it's sort of, it's very relentless. I was kind of tired after we finished it.
I've got it on the screen now. It's an image of just like, the title. And it's all them lined up. And there are 10 of them.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
And they're all characters. Yeah.
And they're all new.
We probably should have prefaced this by saying we're not going to really spoil the movie.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's generally spoiler-free on this.
Yeah. No, I really...
It's a show, but...
It's like, it feels like not only is it like new in terms of characters and, here's all the new stuff, but it feels like it's setting up towards a bunch of like other new stuff as well.
Yeah.
This feels like the first Marvel movie since... what was it, Endgame, where it's like, okay, we're back to doing like, let's do new stuff now. Let's get some new characters, some new
everything
shit.
Everything else has felt like a bit like Fallout from Endgame, and this is like, we're gonna set up some new threads here.
Yeah,
although I don't like that we're doing this thing where they introduce characters purely to set up them in a sequel film, if that makes sense. I can't really say more without spoiling it, but there's like a couple characters in this who don't have any impact on the plot, barely show up, but they're like, why do they keep weirdly focusing on this character when he doesn't do anything or is intrinsic to the plot? And then he gets his own scene, and you're like, oh, okay, right, okay, he's a guy, he's getting a thing, he's just relevant.
Just look at the camera and say, "See you in the sequel," and just wink and walk off.
See you in my spin-off franchise.
See you in my TV series. I mean, not spoiling anything Spider-Man, but the Spider-Man post-credits was straight up a trailer this time for the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, first after credit scene I haven't watched in a Marvel movie in a really long time, and it turns out it was straight up just a trailer for the next movie.
I had a weird thing with that where, because I saw Spider-Man a little bit late. I say late. It was like a week and a half after it came out or something.
Yeah.
And I saw that at cinema, saw that post-credits, and was like, oh, it's a trailer for the next movie. And then they officially released it like 15 minutes after I got out of the cinema. It was so weird.
That happened to me as well.
I was like, were they waiting for me? Josh has seen it.
Specifically your showing,
You are the only audience member of Marvel that they care about.
Yeah.
It felt very personalized. I loved it.
Well, now we know they're watching you. Have you got anything you want to say to Disney straight up?
Oh, no. I thought I instantly put on the spot, and I'm like, I don't know.
Bring back Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, bring back Recess.
Bring back Recess.
Introduce Recess into the MCU.
Introduce Recess into Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, do it, you cowards. Bet you won't do it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Eternals. Yeah. Considering the bar for it for me was on the floor.
Yeah, I think that's it. I was so expecting to be let down that I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm a big fan of like cinematography and just like nice looking shots. Sounds very pretentious, but
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I imagined you twirling your moustache as you said that.
Oh, gorgeous! Oh, look at the bokeh effects on the camera. Oh.
Well, there are some shots with a sort of sense of scale in that film that I've not seen in maybe ever. I don't know. I always feel like I get too hyperbolic with stuff like that, but there's some real big stuff in that film. Just physically large things. Very well represented.
Yeah. Big boy.
I'm not talking about Richard Madden.
Yeah. Am I going crazy, or is that movie shot in like a different aspect ratio to other Marvel?
Yes.
Is it like really wide?
No, not only was it a different aspect ratio, it jumped between aspect ratios, seemingly at will. That really bothered me.
Yeah, because I thought like at some point I was like, oh, this is really wide. And then I was like, that's not normal for Disney movies, I don't think.
No, black bars were just flying all over the place midway through that film. I don't know why. I've heard it. Erin looked it up and said it was because they had like some shots were made for IMAX, and so they didn't want to, I guess, cut them off for the home release. But it was very, what's the term? Distracting almost.
Yeah, the Disney Plus like play button above it says like IMAX special or something.
Yeah. So some stuff, is like huge, fills the TV, and then the black bars creep in for some close-up dialogue, and then they're gone again, and you're looking at a full picture. It was very... I remember we made fun of Michael Bay because he does that in one of the Transformers. I can't remember which one, but he does the same thing where he just seemingly... I don't think there was a technical reason for that one. I think he just
do what I want.
Essentially, he just changed aspect ratio basically on a whim.
I was watching... I'm not going to go deep into it, but I was watching the new Matrix movie not too long ago, and there are certain parts in fight scenes where the frame rate jumps from like the normal 24 and it like halves down to 12. And I don't know why. It's really weird.
Different cameras, I guess. There's that there's that thing that movies do where they cut to like a GoPro because they obviously can't rig their expensive cameras up to like the outside of a truck or something, so they, for like a chase scene, they'll cut to a quick shot of like a GoPro stuck to the outside of a car. Yeah. And it looks super low res compared to everything else. And it's like, you're like, whoa, what the hell was that?
Captured on Hypercam 2 in the top left of the footage.
It's got the frame rate fraps thing in the corner.
No, that's good though. I'm glad they're doing different stuff.
Yeah.
Not just like cookie cutter villain of the week.
It's funny though that they chose this movie where they have this massive ensemble cast, and they're like, we're also gonna tell one of the more complicated stories, origin stories we've tried to tell, while introducing like just so many people,
whilst also during, for most of the world, like lockdown and pandemic. It's like, please come to the cinema if you can to see this weird new movie we've made that critics seem to hate. It's like, no, I'm gonna pass on this one for now.
You should all go see it though, just to see Kumail Nanjiani's arms.
Oh, what a guy!
It's on Disney Plus, so
it is on Disney Plus. They could not cut the aspect ratio down for that guy. That was blimey.
Yeah, good movie.
So good movie.
I don't know how to segue, so I'm just going to segue straight into Steve's tournament very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go?
So, I entered the Showdown tournament hosted by Pumpkin and Cervantes.
What game?
What game?
For Hunt Showdown. And out of 51 teams, we came 20th. I played with Mick Plow and Truffle Shuffler. Our team name was the Quickies. And we did very well. We actually made money and went up in star ranking.
I saw that. You guys were killing it. It was really funny to watch.
But the one thing that really bums me out though is I wanted to watch the Shout, because they had it shoutcasted, and I wanted to watch the VOD. But today they've said, sorry, we messed up a setting. We have no VOD of it at all.
There's no VOD.
No.
So I can't see myself on screen if I was ever on screen or not. Or
you'll never see yourself on the big
I
jumbotron.
know. I could have been famous. But,
that sucks.
Did you come across anyone have any engagement?
That's also another thing, is I don't think we ran into any other people from the tournament, and it was very much felt like, we were just doing our own thing the entire time. It would have been nice if we had some engagement with other teams, but you can't really have engagement with the other teams unless there's a custom lobbies, which Hunt Showdown does not have at the moment.
Yeah, please, Crytek, custom lobbies.
Maybe someday.
Small indie company and all that.
Sunday? Cool, that's pretty quick.
I watched a little bit, and you guys kept saying like, oh, as long as we're not last, and they were updating the scores like live, and I was like, you guys are far from you have nothing to worry about.
We weren't checking the scores at all like midway through. We were just like, because I was like, oh, OBS and Hunt, please don't struggle. So I didn't know it.
I didn't know if you guys wanted like spoilers or anything, so I tried to keep it vague. I checked in a few times.
Press the emergency maintenance button now. They're doing a big tournament.
Yeah.
Now's the perfect time.
What was really funny was what we were watching Steve, and it was like him having a good time. And I checked in with some of the there was a couple people in my Discord that were taking part, and they were all having a good time. And then I was like, there's a couple teams who are really far ahead, and I checked in on that team, those couple teams, and it was like a military operation. They were like, they were making call outs. They were like, yeah, two guys coming in left side. We take them out. We're gonna sweep these guys, boys. And I was like, these guys, they are here to win.
I didn't even think the prize was that big. Like, they spread it out.
Sorry, nerds. I play games for fun.
Yeah. It was fun to watch, but yeah, it was.
Do you know where that team came?
That I was watching.
Yeah, the one that was taking.
Would have been. They were so far ahead.
Yeah, they were dead last.
First or second. Yeah, they were dead last.
But yeah, it was very fun. I think they're doing it again in April, and I encourage more people to sign up and play.
Yeah, I think I might try to join in this one, because when you say like Hunt tournament, I always think like, well, I just sort of play Hunt for fun. I don't really, but everyone was playing Hunt for fun when I was watching, so I was like, oh, this is just
Or the tournament like point system is just like play the game, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you can just be playing Hunt. And it's like, oh look, I came.
The game,
you know,
we did like kind of prioritize like rushing a bit more and playing a bit more aggressively. Like we didn't want to be sat in a compound for 20 minutes. Like
playing with purpose.
Steve had strats. I was watching.
Yeah,
some
of my strats were. Oh, I know that I'm not going to win these shootouts, so I'm going to stand still in this compound while my teammates do the killing.
I think generally we play hyper aggressive anyway. So
I play very impatiently rather than aggressively.
When you play with randoms, you realise how slow they play. It's like, we speed up a bit. Don't need to inspect every log cabin. There's nothing there. That's cool. I'm glad that went well. I've my game of the week that I've been playing, which Will knows about, but I'm not sure if you other two do.
Watching you play it, yeah.
I've been playing tons of Outer Wilds.
Yes, let's talk more about Outer Wilds. Woo!
That game is. I'm kind of annoyed now that I slept on it for so long because it's so good.
This is so cathartic.
Yeah.
I could drop a "told you so," but I'm not gonna. I'm bigger than that. I would just imply it.
It's not even like I told you so, because so many people talk highly of it.
Yeah.
And then when I tried it the first time, because I didn't get very far, I was like, it clearly gets really good, but I wasn't in the mood for it at the time.
Yeah.
And now, it's like all I've played.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely not an easy sell, right? But I think once I think you said it, where once you find a thread and start pulling on it, that's when the game like hooks you. Once you find that mystery that you want to solve,
I think
even if it's a small thing.
I think the hardest sell about it is it's hard to tell people why it's good without actively spoiling a lot of it,
without ruining their experience.
The whole purpose of it is the experience, basically.
Yeah.
So because of that reason, I'm not going to go crazy into it.
I will say we don't message each other a lot, like off stream. Generally, when we hang out, it's like we just join a Discord call that we're each in or something, and we chat that way. But me and Josh have been messaging back and forth about Outer Wilds over the last week.
It's just some of the stories.
It's fun. I love having someone to talk about Outer Wilds with. Yeah.
The one that had me belly laughing so hard was when I launched my ship into space, like accidentally. I was flying around. I found a planet, and it had like what looked like a landing pad. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna land here. Like, why not? Land there perfectly. It's like a perfect landing. And then you walk around a bit, and you see a big big lever, basically. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna flip this switch, and it just launches my ship into space. And there's no way of getting it back. It is gone. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep looking around and then I'll make the most of this loop that I'm in until it resets. And then you were watching and we were talking about it, and you were like, well, check your ship. Maybe it'll just like come back into orbit.
Yeah.
And you can get back on it.
Because that was the great thing is this whole game is simulated. So it's like it's not a scripted thing to launch your ship into space. Josh did that by accident.
Yes,
but
100%.
There is a chance it could slingshot around something and come right back to him if it happens to line up that way. So I was like, you should just see where it is just in case.
And we did, and you were watching, and the trajectory it was on like the other side of the sun.
Yeah.
But it was kind of arcing in a way where I was like, hang on. No, this could kind of work. It could slingshot round. If I jump into space and do like some crazy maneuver, maybe there's a chance. And then I just watched it for like another few more seconds, and it just burnt into the sun, and it was just gone.
Like a pebble into a lake, it just went plop, and it was gone. Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, between the time with which it plopped into the sun and me launching into space was like 15 minutes. So I was walking around doing this, that, and the other, like just whatever for 15 minutes, and then Will's just like, "What about? Why don't you check on your shit?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's it doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's coming in. It's going. Oh no, it's in the sun." At like the perfect time. Oh, it was so funny. So,
yeah, I think. Yeah. If you want like a sell on that game, over the course of the last week, I watched Josh spin around the inside of a collapsing planet around a black hole, and he had sort of gotten himself into that parabolic orbit where you're constantly falling around it. So he was just like 360ing around this black hole like freely. And then as I watched, a chunk of the planet collapsed and fell into the black hole in front of him, and he
just completely
essentially took him out, squashed him. So if you think that sounds fun, that's
I had one more thing happened that I don't think you saw. This one was really funny because I was just I was on another planet that has like tornadoes, and there are islands on this planet. It's like a body of water, like a water planet, but there are islands around, and there are these tornadoes, and these little islands can wander into the tornadoes, and they get launched into space, and then they fall back down. And it just kind of carries on. But like, if you're just on there doing your own thing, it's like, whoa, what's going on? And I'm not sure what happened. I think I was in the perfect spot to just get fucked. Basically, I was just standing there minding my own business, like reading this thing on the wall about this alien race doing whatever, and then the ground starts shaking. And I'm like, oh, okay, oh, here we go again. And I just get launched into the ceiling, and my body just explodes. I just die. I'm like halfway through reading something important.
Yeah, I love stuff
I just get launched into the ceiling.
I've seen a lot of people bounce off that game because they say like, oh, it feels very imprecise. Like I tried to land on something and the controls are too finicky, and I just sort of crashed. And it's like, but if you embrace that, if you just hurl yourself around the galaxy at 1,000 miles an hour and just see what you hit, then it's a fantastic exploration game.
I've had moments where I'm just like hopping around a planet, and suddenly where a bit of the planet should be, it's gone and falling to a black hole. I'm like, oh no, I'm falling. I'm supposed to be floor here, but then you just like spin around the planet more, and I love it. It's so much fun. I'm having so much fun with it. We're saying the best thing about it is like it's kind of designed like a Metroidvania.
Yeah.
But there's the skills you unlock is like knowledge. So you don't physically get a key to open a door. You just find out, how to open the door by doing some bullshit. And you could have opened it the whole time, but you didn't know.
Yeah.
Like that
sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's one bit where you had to go through a whole like rigmarole of like caves and shortcuts and this, that, and the other, like, secret passages and that. And then you find out in the end that you could have cut all that out by just going through like a secret hole that was somewhere else. But then now you know it's there. That's your new shortcut in. And it was always there. You just didn't know.
You just had no reason to look.
Exactly.
Didn't know. Yeah, didn't find it. Yeah.
Love it. Brilliant. Nearly close to finishing it. Going to finish it by next week for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's the trick. You're always close to finishing it. It's only 20 minutes long.
I think I am actually. God. I think I'm there.
Yeah, I think you're close. I think you're about nearly finished.
I assume the speedrun is like, like you say, like 20 minutes or like 10 minutes.
Well, 20 minutes,
yeah. But that's what I've been doing. So, should we get into what we're obviously here to talk about?
Yeah, I made notes, but I honestly, don't think any of it's worth talking about other than other than Monster Hunter, to be honest, because that's what I've been doing this whole week.
Oh, how have you all been finding it?
Great.
Just straight up.
I'm actually enjoying it more this time round.
Did you have it on Switch?
Yes.
You played with him,
I
Josh.
played with you.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yes.
I'm trying to find a picture. He's the background. They're all so small.
I think the issue I had when I played it on Switch was all I wanted to do was play it multiplayer. I wasn't really interested in playing it single player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we ended up doing was booking in like time slots, like once a week, if that.
Yeah.
So I never actually got anywhere. I'm already further now on PC than I was on Switch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So-
assume it's just more comfortable to play generally than the Switch as well. Just
Oh,
higher frame
yeah.
rate.
Oh, 100% is comfortable.
For sure.
But yeah, just the fact that like I've even got the drive now because I'm enjoying it so much to go and play it single player.
Yeah.
Like if no
Yeah.
one was online, I would happily just grind out like 3 or 4 hours, no problem.
I found
Yeah,
that game to be so arcadey compared to previous Monster Hunters that I had no problem just jumping in with randoms for stuff.
That is exactly what I put in my notes. That's
Yeah.
the exact word I used was this one feels so much more arcadey
Yeah.
than World for I think better in a lot of areas and worse in some. For one thing, I don't think it's obviously very clearly a Switch game that's been ported. It doesn't look as good as World, but it does run infinitely better because of it. And if all you care about is fighting monsters, that is better. Is if you can get to 140 frames and stay there, it feels a lot better and smoother to play than World.
Does it support high refresh rate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, so it doesn't look quite as good, and some of the monsters look a bit less detailed than the World, because you can especially notice that if you fight something that was in World, it'll look a lot less detailed. But so far that seems to mean that there's a lot more in Rise. I don't know if that's true, but I was shocked at the roster of monsters that I've fought so far. It seems to be fairly expansive compared to what you did in World, but I could be misremembering. I haven't played World in a long time.
Well, my screenshots of my old save file on Switch, where I did everything, was about 70 hours. And I got I think 150 out of World, but that had Iceborne, so it's not entirely fair.
Yes.
Yeah. And Iceborne was like a whole other game, essentially.
It was the game again,
Yeah.
in terms of content, basically. But hopefully they do that with the new expansion for Rise. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Coming out this summer. I think they've said both PC and Switch at the same time.
Yeah, I think they said parity. I think I read that somewhere.
I just need to pray that it's got catch-up mechanics. So I can get it on PC.
Oh, I imagine it would. They did in Iceborne. It gave you really good stuff to catch you up to Iceborne.
Yeah.
Not to mention that it's already got DLC stuff for the Switch on the PC version, so it gives you a set of armor. It gives you a set of armor that is. It's
The
like
guild
you're ready for high rank with that armor. So you just play through low rank. All you got to do is worry about your weapon, which you barely need to worry about.
I do kind of wish they wouldn't do that, though. I wish they would let us have... Because this game starts, it hands you so much free stuff that I've never had to worry about money or...
Oh, that's a shame.
Or potions or anything, really. Yeah, it's a bit... Which is a bit of a shame.
But I don't remember having any problems with potions and money in the Switch game.
Well, that's the thing, is the game, I think, again, this one also feels easier than previous Monster Hunters, even maybe even than World. So it's it really doesn't need... It gives you 400 grand or something straight up as soon as you log in, and it's I didn't really need that. It's not that difficult.
Here's your free big dick sword of insta killing. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, basically.
Well, so I'm pretty sure we have not had to do a single mission either, which is to just go out and gather.
Yeah.
In World, you had to go out and be right, I need to get some flowers because I'm running low on this, or I need some of that, so I've got this for a big hunt coming up.
Yeah.
Like you had to plan stuff out.
It does feel like it was designed for a handheld in that the fights feel shorter, I feel like, in general. And it feels... You're never more than like a minute away from bashing on a monster if you don't want to be. Like, I remember it feels like in World there was a lot of preamble about like getting set up and getting the right gear. And this one is like, nah, just slap whatever you want on, take a bunch of mega potions, and you can go and wail on a monster. And even if they like run away or you faint, you're never more than... You can just run back. Like, it doesn't...
Well, I think this is the first Monster Hunter game where you don't have to actually track the monster. You just you just go in and it's like, here it is. And then I'm not sure how far I'm not sure how far in you are. But eventually you do little side missions and you just unlock like fast travel points.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we've got some of those.
And then it gets to a point where eventually, when you've got them all, any map you load into, there's like 3 or 4 spawn points, and you just load in. You look at the map, you go, where is it? Okay, it's there. You teleport to it within a second, and from loading into the map to like actively smashing its head in, it's literally like 20 seconds. It's like when you get you've played it a lot, but when you get really used to the wire bug, and you know all the cooldowns and everything, you can zip to where you need to be in like 2 seconds. And I think it's both good and bad based on what you like Monster Hunter. I was saying it's good for the fact that on Switch it was fast. You could do monsters quickly, get in, get out in like 15 minutes. But like it takes away... You definitely lose something by it being this quick.
Well, I think you lose like the sense of the hunt, right? It's not a monster fighting game. It's the monster hunting game, and it's sort of missing the hunt part in this one, where you just load in and beat on a guy until he gives you his feathers, and then you make a hat out of him. But I think it was in World you had to find the monster, which you could learn by guessing sort of whereabouts they would be based on the monster. The maps were much bigger and way more intricate. In World, so they could run away and just be somewhere else. This I think you're right. As it is missing the old sort of I don't know how it's like pomp and circumstance around hunting a monster. It used to be a big event, and now it's like just load up with 4 of your friends and go and
it's like there's less build up, which makes the payoff much smaller. But then you're also, you're now getting more payoffs faster, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you like the combat, this is the best game to like get combat quickly, like get in, get out, fight a monster.
And the new moves are fantastic. They're really fun.
I think this one's very good for new players, because I've seen people get interested in it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's just you hop in. Like, it takes a moment to learn the controls, but once you've got them down, it's really easy. If I can do it, anyone else can.
It's the most forgiving Monster Hunter has ever been by far.
Yeah, and it's weird because it feels like one of the old style. It feels like a 3DS Monster Hunter, one of the old ones, rather than World. But it's also extremely forgiving compared to those ones.
Yeah, it goes back to, I think a lot of that is because of like the UI and stuff like that. It goes back to old Monster Hunter sort of UI and bits like that.
I remember playing. It was like Monster Hunter 3 or something. 3 Try or something. Something
Try,
like that,
on the Nintendo Wii, I think.
Or whatever. But I remember playing that, and you had to like always press like 3 different buttons at any given time for you to be able to do anything. Yeah. Like you had to keep tapping like a button to make you look at the monster.
Because there was no camera control back then, so you had to lock on and then be mashing a button that would just focus the camera on him all the time.
I think a lot of that was to like have almost like parity with the PSP versions, because they were really popular on the PSP. And that game had like one little analog nub and 2 shoulder buttons.
You had to master the claw. Yeah.
And then the 3DS one was even harder.
Yeah.
Because that just had like the little... I think Laura had the Pro 3DS or something, and it had like... You remember like old laptops had the little nub in the middle for a mouse?
Yeah.
Yes, I've got that. Yeah.
It had like one of those. and you had to like do the camera.
That was terrible.
It was awful.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
it wasn't very good. So
there was an old 3DS add-on that added a second stick?
Yeah. Oh god.
Right.
I've got to find a picture of this. You're so right. It was called like the 3DS Pro attachment or something.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
It was made for Monster Hunter.
Really? I don't recall.
I don't remember that, but I definitely remember there being a second analog stick
so
3DS.
Gross.
Yeah. It's hideous. It was like a massive, like bit of Game Gear that you would house your 3DS.
It reminds me of when you used to have like an original Game Boy or something, and you had you put the big light in the top of it.
Oh,
that shone down on top.
Tactical light.
Yeah, the tactical Game Boy. What weapons are you all playing?
Oh, I went longsword.
I'm back to Sword and Shield again. I do want to try another weapon, but I'm just constantly playing with people, so I'm like, I don't have time to learn a new weapon.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield, it does me well. I know I can finish the game with it, so.
What's Sam?
Sam's hunting horn. He said he didn't want to, and then he went, "Oh, I like hunting horn." So now Sam's playing support again.
So I was like, I'm gonna try the Wii Blade out because that's what I played in my first Monster Hunter game, and I loved it. And it's still got the same essence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, let's try the hunting horn out because that's what I played in Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch, and I was like, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so.
I think
there are just certain weapons that you enjoy using.
Yeah,
it doesn't even matter if they're good. I enjoy using it.
Yeah, I told myself I'd learn something new for Rise and just went straight back to hammer. I can't help myself. It's my weapon. It's so much fun.
I have so much fun wielding the hunting
But I
horn.
think that's part of the appeal, right? Is like you're like, that's my character. It's like picking a character in a fighting game. You're like, I am a longsword main, and I know all the ins and outs and the moves, and it's just really fun bringing something unique to the table on a hunt that other people can't. Like, I can chop off tails, but Sam can bash their face in if he sets his mind to it.
We had a competition earlier, and he had to fight a Kula Yaku, and I had to fight an Azeroth. And every now and then I'd be like, the bear's picked me up again. He's thrown me again. And then Will would go, he's picked up the bloody rock again. My attacks keep bouncing off. And it's like, it's funny how I'm like, if I was fighting the Kula Yaku, I break the rock, right? Because I got a blunt weapon. And it's like, it's funny how you don't notice those little bits until
you go off and do your own thing. Yeah.
You don't have it.
But I think this game has like dethroned ARAM for me in that I haven't gone back and played ARAM. Well, I did one last night.
You'll be back.
I was thinking about Rise the whole time. And I really enjoy that. It's like, it's my new get on who's online. Usually it's Sam, and then we go and hunt some monsters together. And it's because the game, that's one thing I would like, is a way to skip to sort of the later stuff for people who have already played it. I don't know how you would do that, but I wish the early Monster Hunter is so like brain dead easy. I think if I didn't have people to play it with, I would my opinion of it would be less charitable. I think.
Low rank seems almost pointless in some ways. It's good as a tutorial, but that's a bloody long tutorial. But
at this point I'm like 9 Monster Hunter games deep, and I can't be bothered to fight the opening roster of monsters again. They don't, and it's some of the old monsters, especially in this one with all your new movement options, they feel hilariously unequipped to deal with you. The
first one's just not even fair. It feels like you might as well be bullying like endemic life. It swiped at me quickly. Now I have an excuse to murder it.
Well, it's like me and Sam were like, we can fight a Rathian already. We were really early on in the game, and it's Rathian and Rathlos. They're the two. They're basically dragons essentially. And they, for the longest time, they're like the poster child for Monster Hunter, right? Yeah.
Probably
they've had more crossovers.
To be honest.
They've had more crossovers than a lot of Nintendo characters at this point. But and we were like, oh, let's fight a Rathian. They're usually like a good roadblock. They're pretty tough, and it's like it spent the whole fight just sort of mostly looking confused while me and Sam zipped around all over the place, just hammering
Utterly
it,
annihilating it.
yeah. And it's I think it's really fun that they only ever add, right, to these games. They never take away, with some exceptions. They never really take away. They just like they don't ever take monsters away. But they do sometimes.
They do. Yeah.
They usually it's like they dump truck a bunch of new monsters in and bring back a whole
Old one.
roster from the last game. Yeah. And but it is funny. They don't really change much about them, and they end up looking sort of very out of place as a result.
Yeah. Which also translates into the armor sets as well. Because we were saying how like, oh, we killed this. Let's go see what its armor's like, and it's like looks exactly the same as it did in World.
Yeah, that is. But for a game that half the fun is
but
playing samurai dress up. Yeah, it's disappointing to get old monsters, kill them, and just have the same set that you've seen for maybe at least since World. Yeah,
they reuse some of the old maps as well, right? Some of the zones are the same.
I'm certain some of those maps are in some of the old games.
I don't recognize them, but I only played World mainly.
I think the Flooded Lake, especially, I'm 100% that map.
Really? I mean, I recognize them so much as it's like how unique can you make a desert, right?
Yeah.
I've definitely been to a Monster Hunter desert
I'll agree
before,
to that.
but
yeah, it's like you say, I've seen this before. I don't. It's
Yeah.
new, but I've
So
also fought here before.
Here was the one thing that made me realize it, and it might be slightly changed, is in the Flooded Lake there's a little underground area with a little pool, and it's got mining nodes on both entrances. And I'm like, I know these mining nodes. This was my farming route back in the old Monster Hunter game. I know this area of the map. This is not like everything else.
Maybe
when I
we
walked around, I was like, I don't remember this, but I got there and I was like, that was mining node 5 and mining node 6. Like I knew.
You sure you're not confusing that with just having played it on Switch like a year ago?
No, this was back on the one I had on
PSP?
I don't think it was 3DS.
3DS?
It might have just been like DS.
DS?
I've definitely put 50 sprinklers here before. At least if they're pulling errors, it's like from the old games, because that's good for me. Because I don't know those.
Yeah, it's not like the entire map was like, oh, this entire thing, but there are sections, and I'm like, I'm certain.
Yeah,
it made me think, why haven't we had and maybe there is like in Korea or something, why haven't we had a Monster Hunter that's just everything from the previous ones dumped into a big
there was an
ultimate
MMO.
Yeah,
there's like a Monster Hunter Online, and it was on
PC,
really? And it never came out here. But I think that's kind of what you were describing.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be like, here's just a hub for Monster Hunter, and you can it just has everything.
Yeah, and it's because I bet I'm remembering the old 3DS games very charitably at this point, but it's like with some upscaling, they would not look out of place in Rise.
No, I don't agree. No, if you
maybe I'm wrong.
Some 3DS games look way worse than I remember.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, I've got my PSP just over there. I need to get a new battery for it, but I could boot up. I've still got my Monster Hunter Freedom Unite 2, or I think that's what it's called. I could boot that up and have a run round, and I'll report back.
Like certain 3DS games look okay, because you are right. The worst thing about the 3DS by far was the resolution. It was like, it was like
very crunchy.
It was like 240p or something stupid.
Yeah.
It was like so low res. Everything was crunchy, but I think we've had the Switch for so long now. We've talked, we talk a lot of smack about the Switch. It is
we do rag on the Switch.
It is still leagues better than what came before it.
Oh yeah.
And also keeps getting games that I want to play at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, there's some games coming out which I'm like, yes, I want them on Switch.
I almost don't understand, right? It's like, why, SMT5 was another big one that I need to go back to at some point.
That'll be on PC at some point. I'm so sure about that.
It will be. I think it will be, but I've saw at least like another 2 or 3 JRPGs that I'm like Switch only, and I'm like, those look interesting to me.
What ones are they?
Why? I can't. I'll get a list up for next time.
Is it like
I'll-
obscure JRPG number
Yeah,
7?
yeah. We're not talking like mainstream,
Yeah.
like the Tales of or Final Fantasy. We're not talking mainstream, but yeah.
Or one game I had that was actually in the news bit was the new Kirby game, because it got a new trailer and a release date. Does anyone play Kirby? Because I really like those games.
I've played the Kirby here or there.
Because they did that thing.
No.
I think I was talking to Will about it, where I was like, if Nintendo have something, it might be soon. Because when they suddenly just drop a game, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it comes out in like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they just did with this. I think it was like they had announced it, but it had no release date.
Yeah.
And then they just dropped a new trailer, and it's like comes out March. I'm like, oh sick! I'm really excited for that. I think it's the Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
I don't think I've ever played a Kirby game, which is funny because my internet handle had Kirby in it for a while,
Yeah.
but I've never actually
it
played.
did.
Yeah, never played a Kirby game.
I mean, Nintendo make like 5 different types of platformer, right? So
Yeah.
you can't like, if you haven't played a Kirby or you haven't played like Donkey Kong or something, it's fine because they make like 50. But I think I actively play every single platformer that Nintendo put out, like first party, because I just think they're always really solid.
You played the recent Donkey Kongs, have you?
Yeah, done all those. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Was it
that.
Tropical Freeze? Is really good. That's I think those types of games, the Donkey Kong ones, have become their new like hard series of platformers, where it's like Kirby's.
How hard can they be?
The Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is fucking bananas. Haha. They are really hard.
Do we end on that? Is that the podcast title?
Yeah, see you later.
That Donkey Kong was bananas.
Shit,
Anyway,
shit's bananas. But its new Kirby game is all 3D, whereas Kirby is traditionally been 2D.
Multiplayer.
Yeah, and it's co-op. It's all 3D. It looks a lot like Mario Odyssey in a way.
Yeah, I got those vibes. Although, actually, I was gonna say with the transforming, but Mario Odyssey has the hats that you capture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically.
What's his name?
Yeah, transforming.
Hattie?
I think
Cappy.
It's Cappy. Yeah.
Chappy.
Cappy, Chappy, Happy.
Chappy, Chappy.
That's the one.
They released a song called Jump Star or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah,
for Kirby.
the really popular one, but for Kirby this time.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's
SUCC Star.
that's a weird name. Don't like that. jump up, you are a suck star. I don't like that.
Someone wrote that in my yearbook. So Kirby's getting a new game, and once again, Star Fox fans left out in the cold.
You're never getting a new game. You need to get over it.
I don't understand why they won't bring it back.
Don't exist.
There's a reason why they won't bring it back, Will, and that's because
why?
they're
What
not very
What
good
did Star
games.
Fox do wrong that they won't come back?
New Star Fox game sales numbers. We have sold 1 copy.
And it was to me.
I
don't get it.
What do you want, Alf? You just want another rail shooter?
It's not very marketable, I don't think. That's the problem.
What
I
Kirby
think
is?
Star Fox
Yeah,
is.
have you seen
I think
people
the
with their
game
Kirby plushes?
genre isn't.
Yeah.
I think
but also,
they could make a sick space shooting RPG. They just won't. Cowards.
They could, but like if you think about how many plushies, Kirby plushies you can see about, how many Star Fox plushies do you see? Like none.
Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
not had a game, so
Yeah.
True, but still, like Kirby's much more marketable, I think, than Star Fox, and the game.
Oh, no way. What are we going to argue about who's cooler? Star Fox is so much cooler than Kirby.
He's cooler, yeah, but Kirby's wins in popularity.
Star Fox has an ensemble cast. You could make all kinds of stuff out of that.
I think Nintendo, with all their like last Star Fox games, just realized they made a whole new generation of furries, and they're like, "No, I can't do this. I can't have that on my conscience. We must scrap the Star Fox license."
Oh, I'm sad.
Kirby's great
Very
though.
sad.
I can't, unless it's really good. Kirby's always a hard sell for like 50 quid.
Any
Especially
Nintendo game is very a hard sell. I feel
I
like.
think most games are a hard sell.
That's,
for
yeah,
50 quid at
current,
the moment.
yeah.
Or like this new Kirby looks more interesting. Like it's 3D for the first time. It looks different. Whereas the last one I played, on Switch, it was just a 8-hour long 2D side scroller, and it was really good. But it's like, paid 50 quid for this. In fact, that might have been one of the last games that spurred me to start renting games instead of buying them, because I was like, that's a lot of money for a game I'm never gonna play again because I've 100%ed it in.
I think
8-9
it was
hours.
the same for me, but I bought Mario and Rabbids on my Switch as a digital download, and I played. I think I bought it to play it on the way to visit my parents, which is like a 2 and 3 hour train journey. 3.5 hour train journey, and I remember like, okay, I'll buy that, so I've got something to do on the train. Played it on the train, never touched it again. And it was a fine game, but I was like, yeah, that was on top of the absurd train ticket prices. I spent a lot of money for just some train entertainment. I could have bought a book.
That could have been 10.
Saved myself a lot of money.
It could have been 10 meal deals.
There you go. Yeah, 10. Yeah, at least 10 meal deals. Yeah. That would have kept me entertained.
Yeah, that's a lot of egg crest sandwiches. But yeah, so I don't know. I wanted to put this on the list because I'm excited for it. I think it looks really good. I don't expect anyone here to play it, but I'll be playing it.
I might give it a shot, but
no, you won't. I don't blame you.
We could make that a topic. Actually, a game that you're excited for that you think no one else would be. Because I've actually. Yeah, I don't know. I think a fair amount of people, almost myself included, are looking forward to seeing if that Pokemon game actually sticks to landing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing.
I'll be
Pokemon
waiting.
Arceus. I'm more excited just to see, like you say, like if it's good or bad. I'm just curious. Yeah. So, and then I didn't watch. Did anyone watch the 13-minute gameplay trailer?
No,
because that would be good for this, but I don't think anybody watched it.
I watched half of it because I was like, okay, I kind of get it. It's not a game. It wasn't so much a gameplay trailer. It was more like explaining all the systems of the game, like what you actually do, how how to play the game. Kind of like it would be like, oh yeah, you're going around making the Pokédex. This is how you do it. You can run up to Pokemon. Sometimes they'll fight you. Sometimes they're friendly. Sometimes they'll run away. And kind of explaining, like, oh, you'll get NPCs telling you, I want a picture of this Pokemon or something, or give me one of these, and it's very basic. So I was like, I don't need to watch all of this, but it's just showing the game mechanics and stuff.
It's interesting to talk about this off of Monster Hunter because from what I understand, it's very similar in design to Monster Hunter, in that everyone's like, oh cool, open world Pokemon game, but I think it's like zones, and you go out on expeditions. And you have like objectives to fulfill, and then you go back to your base. Is it just Monster
Hunter? You just made me a bit more interested.
I need to watch the video. I should have watched the video.
In this game,
I don't think
if you told me it was Pokemon Monster Hunter, I'd be in.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's 4 of us here now. There's a video out that explains everything, and all 4 of us here like
speculating.
No idea. Yeah. What could it be?
Come on, Steve, go watch it right now. Just mute yourself and come back in like 10 minutes and tell us.
We'll say Josh will link the video in the description below if you're on YouTube.
When is it out?
Just Google it.
And I think it's 29th. It's out.
This could be another thing we bring back next week and be like, right, we've all gone away, we've watched it.
All right, okay. We'll stop this now. We're not going to speculate on something there's information about.
You mean stop talking, not stop the podcast. We're not stopping.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, we just lost half our audience.
Oh, it's fine.
Now the real hardcore fans are still here. We can get into some real topics.
Oh, I think like the time frame that this works out. If we look into it, we'll give our thoughts on it next week, and then the week after that, it should be out.
Yeah. Is anyone planning to get it though?
I am.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is an awful lot. You spent so much time on Pokemon.
You can hear the enthusiasm in his voice. He's like,
He's so ready.
I guess
I was going to say we've dedicated so much time to this Pokemon fucking game. One of you better play it.
I'll probably pick it up. This is another Switch only game, right?
Oh, yeah, Pokemon.
But they're
It's
letting
only
Pokemon
Switch
go
on
off
mobile, so.
Yeah, they're not letting Pokemon get off that platform. That's what will sell the next console.
So another game that came out is God of War on PC.
That's today, right?
I think it came out yesterday.
Yesterday, I think. I never know how to feel about
well,
because I mean it's exactly the same almost Monster Hunter Rise, right? It's just a PC release. It's not like it's a brand new game.
yeah.
But Monster Hunter Rise's multiplayer, there's a lot more people like interacting with it, whereas God of War is just a port. There's no multiplayer at all. It's just story. Is it good on PC? Like
I've heard
sometimes you hear football.
Yeah, I've heard apparently it runs really well.
Okay,
it should
That's
do.
Good.
Yeah,
it should do.
Yeah, it should do. Yeah.
Horizon was meant to run well at launch as well. Horizon Zero Dawn, but
Horizon took a good few patches before it became.
Yeah, I heard
good.
that.
So I've heard good things. I'm glad more people can just play this game because it's
it is
amazing.
a fantastic game.
My issue with that game is I've watched the story because I watched someone play it.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it's interesting to me that it's doing really well, which is good. It should do. But when God of War came out, that was a time when Sony was like, "No, we're not putting our games anywhere. If you want to play God of War, you're buying a PS4, right? To play it." So I was like, if you are a diehard PC fan, are you not sort of, I watched this. If I was really interested in God of War, I would have just watched someone else play through it. I think it's interesting.
I think it's very interesting. We're seeing Sony start doing this now when it's clear that a lot of like publishers now are in the mindset of, screw exclusivity for the most part. We want a lot of our stuff just everywhere. Just put it everywhere.
It almost feels like external pressure, right? Like every other big company is like, just put your stuff wherever. As long as it can run it, you can. Yeah. Well, yeah, but Nintendo's their own beast, aren't they, at this point? And it feels very weird that felt very archaic that Sony was like, no, we have our exclusives, and this is the only place you get to play them, sort of thing. Yeah,
because you've got a lot of Microsoft now. They were so console for ages, and now their stuff's on, on PC and
Game Day one Halo on PC. That was great.
Yeah, and then with cloud gaming and stuff, it doesn't quite work for me yet with my internet. But in the future, you can just you want to whip out Halo on your mobile and go for it.
Yeah.
The one game which I am utterly surprised beyond belief that they have not released on PC yet is Bloodborne, because people praise that game to high heaven. It would do so well if they released it on PC, yet they haven't.
I can only assume, and this is going off FromSoft's previous work on PC ports, that game behind the scenes is a mess that nobody wants to touch.
God, yeah.
That's also been my assumption. Is that it's just a spaghetti code.
Mess. And it would need like a what was the company? Is it Bluehole? Is the company that does the?
They did Demon Souls remake.
They did Demon Souls. It would need like a full do over to get out on PC.
Yeah, I've never played it, but the people I've not played a Dark Souls, but I played Bloodborne, or Bloodborne is the best one. But
it's up there for me. Yeah, I think on average, I think it is my favorite FromSoft game that they've put out.
I think Bloodborne is so close to being like the perfect Souls game. The only problem is that it's locked to a console that plays it with input lag at 30 FPS.
Yeah,
and it's just like you can emulate it and stuff these days, and it is a lot better. But
here's another question now. For you guys, for you three, if it came out on PC, would you buy it?
Bloodborne.
We'll see how Elden Ring goes.
I'd be all over.
I'd wait for it to be on sale, but I'd definitely doubled it to get it on PC. I wouldn't buy it full price like I did on PS4, but I just think because that's not a multiplayer. Sorry, that's not a multiplayer game. So it's not like it's not like Monster Hunter where you're paying for the privilege of a better version plus you get to play with all your PC friends. It's just I'm gonna play through Bloodborne again.
Fair enough.
Oh, I was thinking
because Bloodborne for me has a similar problem as God of War, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait, you've watched it.
In the sense that
It would never come out, so you've
I
looked up everything about it. Yeah.
well, it came out, so I watched it, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
do I need to play it? When I play Monster Hunter, I play it for the gameplay. I'm not playing it for like the story, for example, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I could see that mattering in Bloodborne, but I feel like if you know the story, that still takes away from the game.
I think if you know the sort of big twist of that game, I think it would take away something going in if you instead of going into it fresh. But it's still it is similar.
It's still
to
a good game.
It's still a fantastic
Yeah.
game.
I'm not
Even if you
saying
just
it's a bad game. I'm certainly not like.
But even if you just
away.
approached it as like a series of interesting boss fights and levels and things, even if you without story or anything else, you would still have a fantastic time on PC, especially.
Yeah, I think a lot of stuff about sort of Bloodborne and God of War and this, that, and the other is like, because these are such good games for their time, and they're still good games now. I played them when they came out, and I haven't really, engaged with them since. So God of War is, being re-released, and I'm like, I could play that again because I don't really remember a whole lot about it. And I feel like I could enjoy it all over again.
I feel like that's one though where in Bloodborne there's it's very RPG. It's not a pure like RPG, but there is a lot of builds and things like that. I feel like God of War is closer to a story than it is a true RPG. There are stats and gear and stuff, but it's you are playing Kratos' story through that game, and it's not like Bloodborne where there's different interpretations or things you can miss. It's like, no, it's gonna sit you down for the next 20 hours and tell you this one tale in a very specific order.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I could play through it again, actually.
One thing to note, though, just a quick apology. We have been saying the game's name wrong. It is Dad of War.
Yeah, Dad of War. Boy.
Oh, I should apologize as well, because I said I would play Firewatch and I didn't.
Wow.
I'll let you off this one time.
Talk about.
You're just going to play Rise for another week, let's be serious.
Oh, yeah.
I
right. Said I'm going to hit winter in Stardew Valley, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep that promise. But we'll try.
I mean, Monster Hunter Rise has like an end point, right? And I don't mean in terms of like you've hit credits. It's like you unlock the final monster, which isn't like the story monster. It's the final like fuck you hard monster.
Yeah,
and it's like, what do I do now? Oh, you can grind armor sets, I guess. Yeah, if you're into that.
You can get to rank 999.
I always think it's so funny that those games because they have a story, right? But they put the barest like minimum effort required into the story. It's just a couple of talking heads, and then at the end you get a weird cutscene that's like you beat the boss, and then it rolls credits. And Erin walked past today and was like, "Oh, you finished Rise?" And I was like, "No, not even close."
I have started.
It basically is. It rolls credits for the prologue. Yeah,
for as far as the story goes. Isn't the Rise story literally you're in a camp, the guy goes, I've received a letter, all the monsters are angry, and then you just go find monsters.
Yeah.
And that's
which I'm all about. I love that. I think the worst part of World was the whole forcing you to watch the cutscenes before you could play multiplayer and stuff like that. This one is so much faster at getting you into just fighting monsters, and it doesn't care about if you care about the story. It's like, go fight this guy. I don't know. There's a rampage, whatever.
Well, there's like the DLC trailer for Sunbreak. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Sunbreak. They've got like a trailer for a new character and this, that, and the other. So I don't know if it's more story based, but there's a new person. You might get like 5 minutes of cutscenes with them.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how much is actually in that game, because me and Sam just hit high ranks. I think Sam's a bit ahead of me now, but
there's a lot. There's a lot.
I would, and especially because it's had a whole year of Switch like support as well, which is supposed to be in there. So I wonder how much there actually will be on the tail end of that game.
Yeah, there's
it'll be fun.
Sorry, Karen.
Well, we already did a quest, where an event quest where
I was waiting.
You collected. Ran around the map collecting golden rings while it played the Sonic Adventure 2 theme, and I earned a Sonic outfit for my cat that's every bit as horrifying as I imagined it would be.
Glorious.
But I'm very excited to see if there's more stuff like that, more crossovers.
I think, yeah, like you say, I think the Switch had lots of DLC just like trickled in over time.
I mean, that is one of the huge things about the Monster Hunter franchise is they've been quietly doing like free post-launch support for so long now, ever since like the 3DS.
And now they're just like, here it all is on PC. Have fun.
Yeah. So this is so stacked with content, it feels like. But
the only
pages and pages of it.
Yeah. The only wall you might hit is, I remember some of the late game stuff, you have to grind out a bit of high rank before you can unlock the quest.
Yeah.
Because some of the stuff came out like, say, like a month or two after.
Yeah.
So
you finish.
Yeah. You go.
When you finish the because you have to do like, rank 1 is like you have to do 4 monsters in rank 1, then rank 2 you have to do 4 monsters or something. But when you get to like rank 7 or 8, then it's like, okay, now just every single monster you kill increases your rank by 1.
Yeah.
And it's like, at 25 you can fight the first DLC boss. Then at 50, like the second, so it is a bit grindy then. But
so it's like 50 to then like 100 or something, and it's like you get to 50, it's like you've unlocked this monster and you kill it, and you complete the quest, and it takes you to 51, and then you're like, what now? So you Google it, and it's like, oh yeah, next monster comes at high rank 100. It's like, okay.
There is a queue for a random monster option though, which is kind of like spices it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
by the end, there's such a huge roster of monsters, aren't there? Just all at your level, ready to fight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I think Monster Hunter could do with, and this might be very mildly controversial, I don't know.
VR.
I feel like
go.
They could do with stripping out some stuff from that game.
You mean like streamline it? Or? I mean,
yeah. No, just some of the additional stuff, like there's the Meowcenaries, there's the training dojo, there's the Argosy, there's the submarine expeditions you can send out on. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other stuff. There's so many different systems for your gear. There's like charms and
talismans,
and now there's a new thing which is like how the birds you find in the game interact with you, and there's you can switch out your own moves for different ones depending on your weapon. And I just feel like, it doesn't.
I get what you mean.
But maybe
it feels like sacrilege at the same time, though.
Yeah, maybe the game would be worse for it. If I honestly don't know. I just feel like the beginning of that game is such a massive info dump they could do with just getting rid of some of that, especially some of the stuff that doesn't seem to matter all that much. I don't know. Maybe I never get hugely far into the like end game grind of Monster Hunter. I usually drop off right after it's like, all right, go grind your Hunter rank, and I play around for a bit and then do some DLC missions and call it there. So I never really get into the super like grinding for gems or whatever. But I just feel like it's like I don't need all of this. I could do with 1 or 2 of these things to add a bit of spice to it. But
at the very least,
maybe
a lot
not
of it is hands off, where it's like,
you
go here one every 4 fights to collect a little bit of honey, so you can make potions. I think, as opposed to the opposite, as opposed to what you're saying, sorry, where it's like get rid of it, I'd be all for maybe going a bit more into it. I don't know how.
More of that stuff.
I don't want more of it. It's just a lot of it to me feels very like skin deep, where it's like
make it permanently online and give it a mobile app.
It's
yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah, do that. Yeah, I like that. Let me manage all that stuff from my phone while I'm hunting monsters. Yeah, I like that idea.
I don't know. I just feel like if you get rid of a lot of that stuff, I don't know what's left.
Or maybe save it for the tail end of the game when you know the diehard fans are going to be wanting to engage with that stuff anyway. It just feels like, trying to boot up. I can't imagine being fresh to the franchise, booting this one up. And there's so much that it gives you so many screens of tutorial right off the bat. And it's like some of it doesn't matter, but some of it does. And you're never sure which parts you need to pay attention to and which parts you don't.
I just
So,
feel like
yeah,
if
I
you
could do with that.
get rid of a lot of the fluff, it's just
And
you load in,
yeah,
you kill a monster,
yeah.
and you come back, and it's like, well,
Yeah, I know part of the fluff that is Monster Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Is it's a game of fluff, and it does it really well, like running around the town and all the different vendors and stuff. It's such an attractive game, even if it is a Switch game that's been like upscaled. All the little details are so good.
the sound for me is the one of the best bits. I love the soundtrack of that game.
I could listen to
Yeah.
that music.
The hub theme
24/7.
is amazing.
It's really good, yeah.
And the character
Yeah,
designs
I like
for
it.
like, you know, the story's not great, or if there even is a story. But the character designs are really solid. I like all the designs.
Yep, the voice acting's good, even if it's made up nonsense words, which is what I set my audio options to.
That's such a like interesting point, because you play in Monster Hunter language,
Yep.
which is all like meat mop malt meat.
Well,
Beep
it's like Japanese, but like Simlish, but Japanese.
It's what
It's what I'm led to understand.
it's what my dad thinks Japanese is.
Yes. Yeah. So it's perfect for me, right?
Yes, because I play in
Uh,
Japanese, but Steve plays in English.
I do.
Yeah, I picked Monster Hunter language because I watched Steve stream a couple of hours of that before mine was downloaded, and the English voice acting made me want to uninstall before the game had even finished downloading.
No, you're
So
missing out on gems like Daddy needs a new pair of boots when I'm skinning. It's the best line.
Don't need that in my life.
Okay, here's another thing I wanted to bring up that
Yeah.
I don't like about Monster Hunter Rise. Great game that it is. I wish that you could leave the dogs at home, which is that in combat, when there's no option to not bring your dog along, right? So the second you go to multiplayer, in single player, you have a cat and a dog who follow you on all your missions to help you out and trap and
Yeah.
do other stuff that you can't be bothered to do. But once you go to multiplayer, it drops the cat, but you still bring the dog because it's like your mount.
I think
And-
that's
With a
you can change
You
that, by
can
the way.
swap, yeah.
You can swap, but you always bring a companion, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I've only played with 3 people, so we had a couple fights where it
We
was
had
me,
random.
Sam, and Erin, and a 4th random person just popped in just to hang out, I guess, and hunt with us. And the amount of visual noise that is going on when there's 4 people all spamming their super anime moves, plus your 4 companions who, for whatever reason, have some of the most ludicrously like over the top animations of like even more than you. The dogs have these weird chain flails that just sort of fill your screen with metal,
Yeah.
and there's just 8 guys like wailing on this one monster, and some of the times I can't even see what's going on. It's not a problem with the camera. It's just that there is so much happening. I can't keep track of what is going on.
It's
And I
interesting.
wish I
yeah.
could turn off other people's like effects a little bit, or just clean it up a little bit, something like that.
At the very least, I think friendly fire is massively reduced in this game. At least it felt that way
yeah.
to me. I'm not sure if
You can still stagger each other. Sam's whacked me a few
you can
times,
definitely
but-
still do it, but it always felt a bit more lenient in this compared to previous games.
Yeah,
and I think that
yeah.
goes back to how the game feels a lot easier.
Yeah,
I love the wire bug. I think it's really cool. I don't want it in the next Monster Hunter game because
Oh, that was great.
well, it'll be in there along with 4 other new systems that they've come up with.
I just think it makes the game too easy. And the main problem I have with it, which makes it too easy, is how you can fly out of being knocked. So if you get swiped, you can dodge like a follow-up by wire bugging like to the left or to the right or over it.
Yeah,
Whereas
I
But-
guess it depends on your playstyle, right? Though, because I never have wire bugs. To
yeah. I use all of mine to do my
I
super
use
weeby.
all of
attacks.
mine offensively.
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, if you ever do get knocked away, I would normally have like for late game stuff, you would deliberately keep a wire bug cooldown active, because if you get womboed by 2 attacks, you're dead from max
Yeah.
life. So you have to keep one up just in case you get swiped, so you can go off shit and get somewhere safe and drink a potion.
Heal, yeah.
I'm not saying the way you're playing is wrong, but like late when you
we only just hit high rank.
When you get to like late game Apex monsters, you can get slapped for like 90% of your health, and it's like you can't get hit again, so you have to be aware that you need to get away at any point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, those are my only two complaints about the game so far. Just wish it was a bit. I just wish, like in MMOs, they're like, all right, you're not going to see this other mage's big AOE rotation. We're going to hide that from you. I wish you could turn that off in Monster Hunter. I love Sam, and I love the music he plays me that heals me.
I love Sam.
Monsters, but I wish he would stop filling my screen with musical notes when I'm trying to pull off my combos.
Play Wonderwall.
We're already at the point he's asked me to swap weapons just so I'll play a different tune.
Because the great thing about Hunting Horn is it's a bunch of different weapons, and they make different noises audibly when you do your combos. But Sam's used one weapon the entire time we've played together, and I'm really getting sick of it.
Play the creepy insect thing.
Yeah.
Was it insect
we had a guy join. What was his name? Like Golden Chris or something?
Golden Sanders.
Golden Sanders, that was it. And he had some kind of like mandolin that he was jamming out on as he was bashing this monster's face in. It was great.
If you play the insect glaive, you can straight up fly in Rice. You just Superman fly across the map.
Yeah, we were talking to our friend Chris, who was playing Insect Glaive, and he was like, I don't really care about the wire bugs because the Insect Glaive could always do that. And it was like, yeah, but for us grounders, we've finally got some options. Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing you all play some more. I don't think you'll finish it in a week, if I'm being honest. Even if you went hardcore for
I think I could give it a good college try.
I don't
challenging you, Will. He's saying you can't.
I've only got 2 long days this week and 1 short shift, so I've got a lot of time.
You fancy doing a Monster Hunter stream this week, Sam?
Can do.
Cool.
Yeah, I just think there's too much, especially when
I could join as well.
Yeah, cool. You're always welcome, Steve. Of course you are.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I'm glad everyone's having fun. What else?
You're not so jealous at all, are you, Josh?
Oh, it's like I don't know if I can do it again. It's too soon.
You could, trust me.
I could, but I don't want to. Does that make sense?
We'll wait for a big discounted sale.
I think if you started playing it, you'd be like, "Oh, this game's fun."
Yeah, it's like I said, the time that I do have, I don't think I want to dedicate it to playing.
Yeah, that's fair.
100-hour long RPG.
Well, because you went a lot harder in the Switch one than anyone else.
Yeah, I did, because it was like we were saying, it was a really convenient commute game.
Yeah.
Like, I could be on the train, and I could hotspot my phone to my Switch and play online and finish a monster before I get to work.
Well, there you go. Get one of those. Steam Deck, is it?
Oh yeah, the little Valve.
They've been sold out for ages, right?
Oh, have they? I've not followed that.
I think there was a waiting list. I'm not sure how they're doing, but
I buy one 350 reserve now.
I think
Q2 2022.
Yeah, like Valve do the Index, right? The big VR thing, and they were really hard to get hold of at the start. But over time, I think it's gotten to the point where if you want one, you can kind of buy one. So I might actually. It's funny you bring it up. I have been kind of looking at it because I think it is a cool little, piece of kit. But
it's like, imagine if it was a Switch without the Nintendo exclusives, but you could play all the really cheap indie games that you've picked up in Steam sales while you're on the bus. Yeah.
My concern is that it just gets dropped for support or something.
Gets abandoned, yeah.
And it just gets, and I've got this not brick, but it's just something that I don't really use anymore because
like those Steam machines.
Yeah, everything that does come out is just like, everyone's like, ass. We're not supporting this. The control doesn't work or something. I don't know. I'm just paranoid over that sort of thing.
I think it's fair. They're fairly untested hardware manufacturers. I guess they've had the Valve. What's it? The VR thing out for a while.
Valve Index is pretty good, from what I understand. And the Steam machines were a failure, right? It didn't really go anywhere. Was that their little PCs they made?
They were going to make dedicated PCs, little PC consoles.
But there was like 50 different types.
They gave them all to like different manufacturers. I don't really know anything about it. that happened while we were in uni, and I didn't care.
Yeah. They did Steam Link as well, which I think turned into an app. But that used to be a bit of kit that you would buy.
And the controller. And there was a controller.
Oh, the controller, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The weird mouse hybrid controller with big thumb pads. I think that's another thing that was kind of like half supported, but the people that use it said it was really good. But I
heard like 50-50. Some people loved it, some people did not like the touch controls.
Touch or it was
pads, whatever they were.
It was sold as like, come play Civilization on this controller. And even I don't play those games. I'm like, I'd rather do anything else.
I remember watching the initial presentation, and they were like in a big, event hall, and behind them there was someone playing Borderlands 2, and presumably on this Steam controller, because that's what they were all there for. And I watched them aim at the ceiling, and then aim at the floor, and then aim at the ceiling, and I was like, yeah, that's about how I imagine touch controls would go.
If it's a controller game, I'll use my PS5 controller, which is great. And if I have to play keyboard and mouse, I've got no problem playing keyboard. It's like a really niche group of people that feel like would be like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
But there's like 12 of them that want to play Civilization on the
Careful,
sofa.
they're gonna be really angry when they hear this. Yeah, all 12 of them.
If anyone's listened to this that actually has that controller, I'd love to hear what you think of it, because I'd
love to have one. He's trying to. If you want to hook him up already, we got like 30 subscribers. Yeah. Valve, if you're into it, Josh will promote your.
If someone sends me a freaky weird Steam controller, I'll play Elden Ring on it. Fuck it.
That would be fun.
So what else have we got on the docket? There's a couple more things, but I don't know if you really want to go into it much. You've got AGDQ that's just finished.
I saw someone put that down, and then I asked my Discord for recommendations on the runs to watch, and nobody really said anything except you, who said Rocket League.
Rocket League.
So I went and watched the Rocket League speedrun, and it was very good. It's impressive and scary in equal measure, and it reminded me why I just could not get into Rocket League, because the skill ceiling in that game.
You don't need to be that good to play Rocket League. That's like watching esports StarCraft 2.
No. But
I can't play this.
If I watch Counter-Strike and a guy gets a really good headshot, I'm like, I could do that on a good day. And I can't. Obviously, I'll never be. What's his name? Simple. But when I watch people fly around and air dribble the ball and just make a mockery of your opponent in Rocket League, I'm like, yeah, no.
They play in a way that makes it look like they're pressing a button to hold the ball next to their car.
Yes,
but they're actually just so good.
That's what was really cool about this speedrun, was they did a bunch of different ones. There was the ones that were like obviously just it would lay out a course, right, and it would be like you've got infinite boost and you have to fly through all these rings and like a checkpoint, and so it's all about like air control and using your air dash efficiently to make tight corners and stuff. But then there was ones where it's like if the ball touches the ground, you fail, and then they'll set up like a series of courses where it's like, okay, first of all, get this ball in the goal, it's just a straight, and then it's like, all right, now dribble it around a corner without it touching the ground, get it in, and up to stuff like, bounce off this wall, fly through the air 400 meters, all while dribbling this ball on the nose of your car.
It's
and
insane.
Then dunk it in a goal, and it's insane. Yeah, it's pure insanity. It was really fun to watch, though. I also watched. What was it? I wrote it down. Garshasp.
Oh yeah. I forgot. You mentioned that. I was going to ask you, what is it?
Yeah, somebody. It's just a really shit third-person action game that is hilariously broken, and they had some really funny. Skips in it. There was like a bit with like an auto scroller with a moving platform, and they figured out that if you ever just pressed like start and reset to checkpoint, it would reset the coordinates of this platform so that you could just, instead of that section ending and you carrying on with the level, every time they reset it, this platform would just reappear and you could follow it for the rest of the You just cruise to the end of the level. It was great.
That's kind of
that was really funny to watch. And then I got midway through. I was watching a co-op GeoGuessr speedrun, which is two guys where because it's co-op, one person gets the view, the street view, and the other person just has the globe, and they have to describe what they're seeing to the other guy, and then he has to guess. And it's these people are insane. I don't understand how they do it. The guy will like drop in, spin his camera 360, and be like, "All right, we're somewhere in Norway." And I'm like, what? What did you get that from the trees?
The trees, yeah. These are a certain type of tree.
Yeah, he'll be like, okay, this
is great.
Yeah, he'll be like, okay, it's 12 a.m. and the sun is in the north, so we're in the southern hemisphere, somewhere in Peru or something, and it's like, bloody hell, this is impressive. And then they go on like, street sign to the north, it's pointing this way, and you watch them slowly home in like to street, like block by block, to this one like intersection where there's a bunch of
that's really funny.
Yeah, fantastic. That was really fun to watch. But halfway through that, I'm gonna watch the rest of that when we close this. But yeah,
there's normally
really
there's normally a day or two after these events finish, someone on Reddit puts up like a list, and it's like, look, here, if you want just if you're surface level with this kind of thing, you didn't watch the event, but you just want some cool runs to watch, here's the best things of the event. And every time one of these happens, I always look for that. So, yeah, I think very soon, tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna see if I can find that, and I'll if I find it, I'll post it in the description to the podcast.
I was gonna say I didn't watch any because I was too busy tournament practice this week, but I did see a clip of apparently someone beat Sekiro completely blindfolded, and I was like,
yes, that was another one.
That's insane.
I had queued up. Yeah, I want to watch that.
Although when you think about it, Sekiro's basically a rhythm game.
Yes. Well, yes, but
Sekiro is a rhythm game. Go.
Yeah.
She's like, I can do that.
yeah. You finish that speedrun, and you're like, well, yeah, it was impressive, but I mean, come on, the game plays itself.
Well, there's what I mean in the sense that like when you do boss fights, it's like learning, because it's all about parrying, right?
Well, it must be based on sound, right? They must. The bosses must have tells, because they have visual tells, but they must also have audio tells. I guess
if it's blindfolded, it has to be, right? He cannot see.
Well, yes, but I mean, either that or they remember. They memorize a sequence. Like a boss has a tendency to do a certain set of moves. I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna though.
I think one of my favorite old runs was always the Punch-Out games, blindfolded. They're really good.
Yeah, they were pretty fun. I always like the weird, like platformers that are super unfair. I think it is.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Boshi.
I Want to Be the Guy. Is that it?
Yeah, there's I Want to Be the Guy, and there's one called Boshi. I think. Is it Boshi? I Want to Be the Boshi.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I Want to Be the Guy is the really hard one, and then I think I Want to Be the Boshi is like that, but just like it's just like stupid levels of hard. It's just like
I always remember liking those runs.
I think it was streamer bait.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah,
where it's just like play this and get mad and yell.
Yeah,
stream, and then chat's like, yeah, look at me get mad.
I will say the runs that I didn't. This is more in the past when they were doing live events. The runs I didn't really enjoy were where the game devs themselves were running their own games and like, look how broken it is. You know,
I haven't ever seen those.
There's been a couple, and it's like it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'm just kind of like, you're kind of promoting your game being buggy and broken here. Like,
oh, it's fine. It's all.
That's fine. At least you can.
I know it's fine, but it just feels like
There's a series that IGN.
If you're running it yourself, are you not fixing those bugs on purpose? You're not sure. It just makes me think about things.
There's a series that IGN do where they get developers to watch speedruns of their games.
Yes, I watched a Doom one of that, and it was really funny. Yeah,
they're really good because obviously these people aren't, speedrunners.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I think one of them was Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I have to find what that's called. But that's a good little series.
What was really interesting to me about when I've watched those is the couple that I've seen, it's that they knew about those bugs and they were like, we just didn't have time to fix them, or as funny as this isn't something you would ever run into if you were just playing the game normally, so we just never bothered fixing it.
I think I remember watching the Doom one for that, you, and they were there like, it's like, we knew this was a thing, but it's like no one's ever gonna manually
It's
got the elaborate, very well thought out name of devs react to speedruns. I highly recommend that. That's a good series. I think that's basically it for the week, right?
Yeah,
Wait,
pretty
there
much.
was one more thing that, like, the Xbox 360 online services are shutting
Oh
off.
yeah, so just before, it was supposed to be just before Christmas. The original 360 online services all shut down, and then they delayed it to January. And so last week, the 360 online services finally shut off for the last time, so you can no longer play anything on the 360 online, which is really sad. And I just wanted to, I put that down because I was like, I remember
pour one out,
playing a fucking shitload of Halo 3 online, and there was a really sad picture of Halo 3 was one of the last. I don't know if that's true, but it had one of those tickers that was like it would show a map of the world, like a heat map, and it would show like an approximation of where people were connecting to from. So it would have like, all of East Coast of America is awake right now and playing Halo, so it was all lit up. And some people in Europe, but it's like midnight, so they. I
think Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 1 might have had something similar as well.
Yeah, I think it's sort of gone away because I don't think games ever want to broadcast how many people are playing their game. I think that's only
Modern Warfare 1 always, it had the number of how many people are playing.
Yeah, exactly. But not as many games do that anymore. I think because it's just they don't want people to be like, oh, it's dead.
What's that Siege game we play on Steam?
Due process.
Due process. Put it in due process, you cowards. It's like 7 people connecting.
They wouldn't need a big. They wouldn't need a big number for that, would they? But anyway, and someone showed a picture of it, and it's like, it's all dark. It's all gone dark for the last time, and it was like really weirdly sad. I don't know.
Aww.
But just reminded me of just how insane Halo 3 was when it came out, and the features it had, like the Forge, and its Forge mode where you made levels.
Forge was great.
Where you could,
I loved Forge.
But and like not only just make your own levels, but share them to a platform where people could upvote them, and devs would feature really popular ones. And even if you made a fantastic like map or mode, they would give you stuff in the game. The devs would unlock stuff on your account just for you, just for doing that.
I think they are planning this for Infinite, like a big elaborate Forge mode.
Well, that was it. This was all just an elaborate dig at how shallow Infinite is right now, with and having literally none of that, and it looks like it might never get any of it.
Yeah.
So,
Olive, I'll stop talking about Halo Meister, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll stop talking when they fix it.
That game's never getting fixed.
No, it's not. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. So yeah, RIP 360.
Okay,
it had a good long life.
I think we'll leave it there then. What are you all doing next week?
Upcoming releases? I'm playing Rainbow Six Extraction on the 20th.
Is that out?
It's coming out in 4 days. Yes.
Fuck.
We did that. We did this last week too. We did this exact same thing last week. We had the same reaction.
I just don't care. I'm really sorry.
It's on Game Pass. I'm gonna play it because it's basically free.
I'm gonna install it and never play it.
It's only 3 players, so one of us has to bail. The rest of us will play through it.
That's lucky. It's 3 player. That's lucky, and then just no one plays it.
I'll play it. I've got a few people who I'm like, I'll play with.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a go.
See if it's good or not.
It's just it's just a fascinating game. I love how we're ending every episode by talking about Rainbow Six Extraction again. But just what a fascinating game. Yeah. You
can't keep doing this to Tom Clancy.
I'll literally only be playing Monster Hunter and then cramming in some Stardew Valley time.
Yeah,
cramming.
What about Hunt Showdown?
What's that?
Maybe we'll play some Hunt Showdown.
Ooh.
Just to chill, relax. That's what that game is to me now. Is I play Hunt to relax.
I know what you mean. That's so weird to say, isn't it? And I get so frustrated at it sometimes. But it is, on the whole, I come away from it like, that was a good fun
I'm
session.
gonna-
On a bad day, I'm like, oh, thank God.
I'm going to finish Outer Wilds, and then I'm not going to do the DLC yet because I'm going to let it sit for a bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll drop it off there then. So we'll play all that stuff next week. We'll regroup the weekend after.
Yeah, thank you for
listening.
tuning in.
Does anyone want to sign off? Where can you find everybody?
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting.
You got to plug yourself,
Yeah,
man.
we should do that. Well, I'm at twitch.tv/Olive_Meister. Same with YouTube. Same with Twitter, but I don't really put anything on Twitter, so you don't really have to go there.
Go on, Steve.
I am Quikwix on every relevant platform. I do not have a stream schedule, except for Friday I might be doing Siege with people.
And
But I will be streaming at least 4 times a week, so...
And I'm not doing anything at the moment apart from this. So you can subscribe to this and find the next podcast next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye,
What about
everybody.
But we're not doing
I don't
Sam.
do anything.
Sam doesn't do anything.
I'm a ninja. I live in the dark.
One day he'll just reveal his social media and he's got like 100,000 followers or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Yeah.
All right, see you later.